कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि.
Ultimate as a final step, I would like to ask is dissolution, or what we call moksha. That is one area which, I don't know how to take a, step forward. I don't know whether my question is clear.
You want to dissolve? Okay.
That is the ultimate, process.
You need a barrel of sulfuric acid. Please sit down.
Okay, can we have…
No, we'll answer that question.
Yeah. Should we take one or two other questions, if you're okay with that?
But you won't get this kind of a question.
Okay, we won't get this. All right. All right.
The reason why the so-called spiritual process has fallen upon ridicule in the world is, well, there may be few entrepreneurs who do their own things, leave them. I'm not going into that. But the reason why spiritual process has become ridiculous on the planet is because people try to do the highest things on the street side without the necessary committed atmosphere, without the necessary focus, simply talk about mukti, moksha, in the previous generation everybody talked about mukti, moksha just about anywhere, sitting, standing. Whenever life became miserable, they want moksha. When it's going well, they forget about moksha. Their idea of moksha itself is convoluted. So this is important. With all due respect to everybody who's spoken about these things, maybe those things were spoken in a certain atmosphere, to a certain individual, towards a certain purpose. I think it's quite irresponsible, first of all, to print that in a book and just everybody reads it without knowing the context of what it is, without having gone through the journey that person who asked that question is gone through. The question doesn't have depth. Answers we can give any number, all you will do is you will pick up more words from today evening and it's not going to do anything. If you're serious about it, if you're really serious about it, if you're serious about your journey, leave all this, first of all, get rid of all the jargon, all the spiritual jargon. Just come to this much. How much of you is sense? How much of you is nonsense? Sit down, unprejudiced, just make an evaluation, just an accountant's job, okay? How much of you is, let me use the right appropriate word, sense, and how much of you is nonsense? Every day, sieve it out, you will see it's not an easy job. And ask some of you, two friends of yours and two people who don't like you, also to assess you. You need an outside opinion, isn't it? Second opinion is always good. You will see it's a great cleansing process. Instead of talking mukti, moksha, dissolution, sushupti, something else, these are all words. Anybody can pick up Sanskrit words. What is the point? Let's take all the scriptures, all the teachings, all the philosophies, all the great things that people have spoken about, all of them are worth nothing compared to a single existential step that you took inward. If you take one step, it is worth more than all the scriptures in the universe put together.
Sadguru, namaste. You spoke about the energy, manas, chitta, ahimkara and all that. The existence of all these is the basic, that is the body. And the body is the composition of the Panchabhutas. Each one has got his own energies. Would you kindly throw light on those 5 energies which is making us here speaking listening to you and all that, please.
So Panchabhutas, or these are called as the Mahabhutas because these are the five elements, which are the fundamental ingredients with which everything is made. Your body is five elements, the world is five elements, the whole universe is five elements. So when Adiyogi was transmitting this knowing to the seven sages who are today known as the Saptarishis, they wanted to know what is the nature of this creation? Where does it begin? Where does it end? He was bored with them, you know. Students can bore you, teachers can bore you, but students can bore you. They don't understand that. He was just bored with them. He said, all your great cosmos that you're talking about, how big it is, where it begins, where it ends, I can roll it all up and pack it into a mustard seed. That's efficient packing. Corporate, I think.
Nano.
Then they wouldn't live there, but they said, what is the nature of this universe? By now he was too bored. He didn't want to waste his words. He simply said, just five. You just have to know five, that's all. Not 5,000,000, just five. Just see with five ingredients, how much mischief. Look at the variety that's happened in the universe. The size and the variety and the immensity of what's happened, just with five. Incredible or not? Out of this five, these four come from one. The other four, what you know as… sir, can you tell me? In Kannada, I'm not able to get the names. Anyway, earth, water, fire, air and space. So these five elements are in a certain composition in different aspects of life. Let's take life, not inanimate things, even there it is there, but in different lives, it is in different compositions. In you, 72% is water, 12% is earth, 6% is air, 4% is fire, remaining is space. When I say remaining, Vinita is calculating, okay, 6% Akash. No, I said remaining is space. Because we are not talking about physical entities alone, not talking about the physical dimension alone, so 100% is not the quantity. As long as you measure the body, yes. Once you come to Akash, you're not talking about percentages.
Right.
So what you're referring to as Akash, because the word Akash is being loosely used today in common language, the word Akash did not mean sky, it meant the fifth element. Because your eyes cannot see beyond the fifth element. Only in the night you are able to see beyond that. During the day, what you see is just the etheric sphere, and because of the way light plays on ether, it all turns blue in your vision. Otherwise, you're just seeing… like suppose a cloud cover came, you're seeing only the cloud, that is the sky for you on that day. You say a clear sky, no, it is the etheric sky that you're seeing, it's an etheric bubble. Beyond the atmospheric bubble, there's an etheric bubble, light dissipates in a certain way, refracts in a certain way there, because of that, your vision closes there. Only in the night when there is no sunlight, then you are seeing beyond the etheric space. Now, Akash is another dimension of perception and intelligence and existence. So your Akash, your water is here, your fire is here, your air is here, your earth is here, but your Akash is not just here, it's spread. Normally, for a person who is, let's say, physically healthy and reasonably agile and active, for him his Akash is somewhere between 9 to 18 inches around his body. But if you do a little effort, this bubble can be expanded limitlessly. So today you're looking for the eye cloud, there's already a cloud, and this cloud can be enlarged. You can make it as large as this planet, you can make it as large as this universe. It is just a question of your willingness, that's all. Your boundaries, or how small your boundaries are question of your unwillingness to transact, isn't it? Let's say your social boundary. How big your social boundary is or how small it is a question of willingness and unwillingness in terms of your social activity. Similarly, existentially, how willing this life has become or how unwilling this life has become. Why would I be unwilling? This is the question. You need to understand this. Because things are packaged one inside the other. Life is made in such a way, what you call as life is also death at the same time. Right now you can say, I'm living, or you can say, I'm dying. Actually you're dying, one day it'll be complete. Yes or no? Whether you call it living or dying, it's the same thing. But we are looking at it as two different things. The moment you look at it as two different things, that's why the mortality process. The moment you look at it as two different things, you will accept one part of it, you will resist another part of it. Once you resist, if you resist death, you will not resist something that called as death, you will only avoid living. Right now, tomorrow morning you start the chant, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. All that will happen is you won't live. Whether you'll die or not, we don't know, but you will not live for sure.
Right.
So because life is inclusive, but intellect is exclusive, always it wants to cut and see what is life, what is death, there is no such thing. They are intermingled, both are happening at the same time. Because of this, Akash, if you are able to perceive your Akash consciously, suddenly your ability to know is just effortless. You can have the luxury of remaining uneducated and still be okay. You can still be okay even if you're uneducated because everything that's worth knowing about life is here in these five elements. So the most fundamental aspect of the yogic process is called bhuta shuddhi. Every yogic practice, whatever you do, is a little extension or little extract from bhuta shuddhi, which means cleansing of the elements. If you do enough of this, then you arrive at what is called as bhuta siddhi, that means you have some mastery over your elements. If you have mastery over your elements, your body will happen the way you want it, your life will happen the way you want it, your destiny is determined by you. Not only that, even things around you will happen the way you want it. Lives around you will happen the way you want it. Plants will flower out of season, things will happen in ways that you thought not possible. Is this something supernatural? Is this superhuman? No. This is not about being superhuman. This is about realizing being human is super. And the nature of the five elements, what they are, how they function, an enormous amount of study and science and experiential dimensions to it has been done in this land. Unfortunately, we are ignoring all that and trying to handle everything on the chemical level for health and well-being, which is a very, unfortunately, very rudimentary way of handling life. When we see all this whole way of treating human beings with chemicals and stuff has become relevant only because we are overpopulated and too crowded and all this. If you were little more spread out, if you lived in your own land, if you lived in the jungle, you most probably did not get any infectious diseases, okay? Only for infectious diseases, chemical warfare is okay. But for chronic ailments, it's something that happening because you lost fundamental balance. One most fundamental thing is, if one of the elements is not in tune, this will do horrible things to you. So one simple way is, in this culture they taught you, if you have to eat your food, first you bow down to it. You are not saying thank you to any god, okay? Please don't do this. If at all, if you want to thank somebody, thank that poor farmer who doesn't eat what he grows and gives it to you. We are not thanking any gods, we are not looking up and saying thanks for the daily bread, whatever. We are just bowing down to the food because we know how you treat the food, accordingly it behaves within you. Today there is enormous amount of study which shows, for example, water. This water has enormous memory. If I just as much as look at it in a certain way, its molecular composition changes, not the chemical composition, but the molecular composition changes and it behaves differently. Lot of experimentation has happened about this, and today they've come up with something called imploding water, where some of you might have experienced this. Suppose you went to a waterfall and the water that is falling with great force, if you touch the water, it feels silky. Have you ever noticed this? Yes? If it goes down 2 miles and then touch it, it won't feel like that. Only there it feels silky because the water is imploding into itself. Now they've created imploding machines, you can implode the water and you feed this water to your plants. With 10% of irrigation, you can get the same results, simply because the water is imploded. These imploding machines which were made in UK, we are kind of getting them for the local farmers, so that the water is imploded. With minimal water you can grow the same crops, because just changing the molecular composition changes so much. We have always known this. This is why do you think people go to a temple and they're dying for the 2 drops of water? Because the water is supposed to have the memory of the divine, supposed to be in touch with the deity, and there is supposed to be memory, and you take it and it's supposed to work. If this whole science is managed properly, but today we don't know how it is in most of the places, but the possibility of changing how the water behaves within you just by treating it differently. Before drinking, just bow down to the water, don't see it as a commodity, it's not a commodity. It is life-making ingredient. This is more important than your mother, father, your children, anybody, isn't it so? What is in this vessel right now? Please tell me, I want you to hear that.
Yes.
Yes, because if you don't drink it for 1 day, you will not want anybody. You want only this. No, we're talking about the real thing. So the 5 elements, if you learn to handle them properly, simple thing, whatever, the earth that you walk upon, air that you breathe, water that you drink, food that you eat, and the sky. 3 times a day, consciously, just put your hands together for these things. These are the life-making ingredients. Your life is made out of this. Just approach it differently. You will see your health situation, your sense of well-being, your stability, everything will be greatly enhanced. If you want to do a proper practice of Bhuta Shuddhi, please come, we have elaborate systems of Bhuta Shuddhi. Probably nowhere else in the world right now these kind of systems are offered, but they will need a certain amount of preparation and absolute dedication to pursue them.
I have been seeing your videos in YouTube. This is the first time that I'm seeing you live. So I have a basic questions which will help everyone here. Everyone talks about, knowing ourselves, and the first step is going inside. And then the way to go inside is meditation. And when I try to…
Please, don't I never said such things. I don't know which everyone said those things.
Okay, so then how do we go inside?
That is the question.
Inside what? You're already inside the hall. Inside what?
Inside ourselves.
Oh.
Okay, that is the truth of the first step of knowing answers for all the questions. If going inside is the answer, then how do we do that?
First of all, you must understand what is inside, okay, and what is outside. If you do not understand what is inside and outside, then you will go to all the wrong places. Now, what is inside? Your body, accumulated over a period of time, yes or no? Hello? No? What you accumulate can be yours, cannot be you. Is that much clear? Whatever it may be. What you accumulate can be yours, cannot be you. So this body is an accumulation. What you call as my mind, the whole content of the mind is accumulated depending upon what you're exposed to in your life. So your body is a heap of food, small or big. Your mind is a heap of impressions, again small or big. Between these 2 heaps, where the hell are you? So, inside, outside, leave these words, because when it comes to language, there is only that much leeway. So within that, maybe different people are trying to use it in different ways. We don't know in what context they used. You put everybody into one bundle and said, all of you said this, I don't know who these all people are. Different people employed different methods around them, looking at the people around them, what was best suitable for the people around them, accordingly they would have worked most probably. If they're genuine, they would have worked with the people around them, not with concepts from somewhere. Looking at an individual person, you will do something, what works for that person. What you do with this person may not work for another person, you'll have to do something else with that person. But you're talking about a generic inward-outward. So first determine what is inward-outward. Everything is outward right now. The world is outside, body is also external material, all the material in the mind also is external. So what is this inward you're talking about? Then you will immediately say, Atma, Paramatma, soul, this one. Now you're going into belief system. You don't know. You know you have a body, yes? Hello?
Yes.
Please check your neighbors. You know you have a body. You believe you have a mind. But to some extent you know. But rest is belief. Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm not questioning whether it's true or false, let's not go there at all. But it's belief, it's not yet in your experience. If you talk about something which is not yet in your experience, to put it bluntly, you're just a bloody liar. That's what it means. But because lies are holy, lies are written in scriptures, lies are repeated by all kinds of people who are dressed in different ways which are supposed to be holy though ridiculous. Because of this, you're not supposed to question these words. Anywhere you go, first thing is people say, Sadguru, what about the soul? Then I ask them, which soul, right or left? So, let's not talk about something that is not in your experience. Right now your body is in your experience to some extent, your mind is in your experience to some extent, rest you don't know. But we can infer. If I have to accumulate this much body, if I have to accumulate this much mind, something more fundamental must be there. Yes? Something more fundamental must be there. We don't know what the hell it is. For now, we will call it you. How you will go into yourself? I'm asking. You can go into this hall, you can go out of this hall. How will you go into yourself, I'm asking? Saying, let's leave this, this is not the way. You do this way. What is not you, all those things you keep it aside. Before today, before you go to bed, everything that's not you, keep it aside. They may be precious to you. You think about it, your house, is it you? Oh, my house. All right, you have lots of passion about it, but all right, keep it aside. Your husband, is it you? No, that's easy, he's not me. My children, are they me? Oh, little difficulty, but no, they're not me. They're beginning to tell you, if they're 12, they've already told you. So the clothes that you wear, is that you? No. The body that you wear, is that you? No. All these thoughts and emotion, is this you? No. Everything that's not you, keep it in one heap. Not physically, just do this mentally. Keep everything aside. Let me see. Every day you practice this. One day when you successfully keep everything aside that you are not, what you are will be there. We have too many ideas about things that we have not seen. It's a big problem. Shankaran Pillai went to Britannia. Can
You
I?
heard the story, yes.
Shankaran Pillai went to Britannia Industries to find a job, So they were looking for a really smart, far-seeing sales manager. So they asked him one question, which is further, Mumbai or moon? Shankarpule thought. He said, Mumbai. He said, what? Mumbai is further than the moon? He said, yes. How? Well, I can see the moon, I can't see Mumbai. So what I'm saying is, if you go by your present perception, you'll get all the wrong conclusions. So don't be in a rush to make conclusions. Let's pay a little more attention. You are a worthwhile life which deserves some attention, isn't it? Don't seek other people's attention. Your own attention, doesn't this life deserve attention? Pay attention to this, enough attention, everything will be clear. Everything about you, you're asking me, if I tell you what you have some more words. Some more words you have, that will not get you anywhere near the truth. One more word or 10 more words doesn't get you any closer to reality, just you'll have more things to say to somebody else. This kind of hearsay is spreading in the world. Everybody knows where God is, who his wife is, how many children he has, when is his birthday, his address. In every bhajan, people are singing his address, where he is and how to get him, but they don't know a damn thing about themselves. This kind of, a very knowledgeable ignorance is dangerous, you know. If you do not know, it's not a problem. If I say I do not know, the possibility of knowing is always there, isn't it? If I do not know and I think I know, then I've destroyed all possibilities. So, we have arrived at many things. We know, in every culture they know what is the nature of God, where he resides, how the ambience is there and the works, you know. Everybody knows the geography of the heaven, isn't it, don't you? But you don't know a damn thing about yourself. It's time we paid attention, because everything you know it only the way it's projected in the firmament of your mind. You don't know anything any other way, yes or no? So, what you need to fix is, you are seeing everything in a mirror of your mind, and the mirror is wonky. First fix it. First thing is to make it stable, flat, proper plane mirror, so that you see everything the way it is. Does a plane mirror show you everything the way it is? Everything reverse, you know. Then you will have to flip it, that'll take much more skill. Most people can't flip a dosa. Now, to flip the whole universe, the whole life that is reflecting in your mind, to flip it over without shattering it into pieces will take much more. But the first thing is to level out the mirror so that it shows you everything the way it is, not some other way. Right now, everything is seen depending upon how you're identified with something. Every identity has distorted the mirror of your mind, and it shows you things in completely different way than the way it is. First thing is, stop talking about things that you do not know. No soul, no Atman, no Paramatman, no God, no divine, no heaven. Talk about something that you know, and then the longing to take the next step will become strong. Otherwise, when you know the geography of the heaven, what is the need to pay attention to anything? It's very dangerous. Thank you very much.